have it done. Or Jesus Christ!
What I tell you what, that singer, I like that singer.
I like that singer too. If they would get a real guitar player, they might go somewhere.
Dude, I like the guitar player too.
I know you. I'm just being funny.
Hey, so check this out, boys and girls. The hot topic is Juan Soto's $765 million 15-year contract with the Mets, right? You saw that shit. Yep.
$51 million a year for 15 years.
Check it out, brother. That's $314,814.82 per game. With an average of 4 at-bats per game, he's going to make $78,763.71 per at-bat.
Holy shit. That's more than I made this year.
So one single at-bat, we'll just round it up to $79,000, okay? $79,000. Keep that figure in your head there. $79,000.
Per at-bat.
Average salary of an American worker. 2022, we'll say, because, they do shit. Okay, so Juan Soto exceeds the average salary for the years of 2022 and 2023, respectively. 2022, the average salary of an American was $61,220.07. Slightly bumped up in 2023 to $63,932.64. Whereas, once again, boys and girls, Juan Soto will make $78,765.71 per at-bat, averaging 4 at-bats a game.
That's insane.
So how the fuck are you going to sustain ticket prices in an affordable way for people to come see you? Because the bulk of those ticket prices are going to pay numbnuts. And then the other way they make revenue, right, is the TV revenue share and then the concessions and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the most misunderstood things, and I don't know if we've discussed this, if we have, it's worth repeating again. We know, you and I know, who's paying for that. The people who are going to the games and the networks that are airing the games, they're going to get gouged too, which is going to cause your streaming, your cable, whatever you have, that's going to go up. That's how all this happens, right?
Yep.
So at what point, what point is it too much and how do you fix it? Because in capitalism, it's he who dies with the most toys wins, right?
But Juan Soto, what has he done? He's a Dominican baseball player, so chances are very good. He's a political refugee from Cuba.
Excuse me.
Even though he's from the Dominican Republic. His average stats in 2024, he had a 288 batting average, 41 home runs, 109 RBIs, and 166 hits. So, boys and girls.
That's it right there.
Let's take it even further, shall we? Let's go back
41 home runs and over 100 RBIs. That's pretty valuable. Not many guys do that.
But let's go back to the calculator, okay? The calculator. He had 166 hits, which means he only hit the ball 166 times an entire season, okay? Follow me? An entire fucking season, this guy had 166 hits. So we're not counting walks and shit. We're just talking the time they actually got to the plate and made a hit. Right. 166 hits. We're going to divide that puppy by his game salary, which is $314,814.82. I fucked that up. Hold on. Okay. $314,814.82 is his game salary. Dividing that by 166 hits. He made $1.89 million per hit if that contract was in play this year. $1.8 million per hit.
Holy shit.
$1.8 million per hit. So, okay. Boys and girls.
That puts it in perspective.
Stop fucking paying baseball players stupid amounts of fucking money for hitting a goddamn ball in the field only 166 times in a 162 game season. That means he basically got 1.111 hits per game the entire season long.
But here's the only way to stop that from happening.
Stop paying him.
No.
Okay.
You got to get people to stop coming to the games and stop paying $10 for a water and stop paying $11 for a hot dog. And you got to stop the fucking, as much as it hurts, when you have blackouts in your area, that's because your network is trying not to take it up the ass. They got to make money for their shareholders too. That's the way this whole thing works. Whether you like it or not, I don't agree with a lot of the way the economy runs. I don't agree with the way society runs. You know that better than anybody.
Yeah. Right.
I got my own ideas, man, and we'll expound upon that as time goes on this podcast. That's part of the point. But
that's part of the point.
as long as the games are sold out and everybody's paying those exorbitant prices, I did it once myself this season, so I'm as guilty as anybody one time.
Yeah. So
for a pretty good reason, to go to Wrigley Field.
Well, right. So he's been in baseball since 2018. He started on the Nationals, was there 5 years, went to the Padres for 2 years, and then went to the Yankees last year, and he's a Met. Okay. His batting average has never exceeded 300 except twice. In 2020,
that's because he's a power hitter. That's
right. In 2020, he hit 351. In 2021, he hit 313, and he's gone down ever since. In those 2 years with the Nationals. Okay.
But did his home runs and his RBIs go up?
That's what I'm looking at. So his
because that's what an owner's going to be looking at.
Well, here's the other funny thing, dude. Games played. He only played one full season, and that was in 2023 in the Padres.
So here's the other thing that it's crazy, but it's fine-tuned all the way down to he is one of the best hitters when there's runners on base. So you are never guaranteed RBIs,
right? But
with him, his batting average goes up exponentially when there's runners on base. Look up his batting average for 2024 with runners on base.
Well, it has his career stats, so I'm gonna talk about his career stats real quick. So he has 936 games played, 3,280 total at bats, 655 runs, 934 hits, 592 RBIs, 769 walks, 696 strikeouts with a career average of 285. So with runners in scoring position, that's why I said stupid fucking thing. Fucking Siri, man. Get Steele on the phone. What the fuck?
Oh, he's always cussing at that thing.
989 is on base percentage.
Okay, that's his on base percentage, which is pretty fucking good.
No, it's really fucking good. So he got a ring in 2019 with the Washington Nationals. He's had 4 All-Star appearances, 4 Silver Slugger awards, a batting title, and 3 top 5 MVP finishes, and he's only 26 years old. So I just fucking can't believe the amount.
You know my opinion on it. If they put the pen in front of me, I'm signing it. So I can't blame him. Right?
No, fuck no, absolutely not.
And the owner's saying, we're going to pass the cost along to the ticket holder, the season ticket holder. They're not eating that cost either, all of it. Very little.
No, and it's the American dream coming from Dominican Republic, man, to play in the baseball and to make the money, And there's nothing wrong with a little Coke money, because I'm going to have a little Coke money with my $765 million, So, yeah, it's fucking insane, dude. Insane in the membrane.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, but I don't know how you fix it.
I don't either. I don't either. I think you need to put a cap like they did in football, right? They put a football cap for rookies, 5 years, $20 million, no ifs, ands, or buts. I think you cap it. I don't think it's fair.
Is that still in place? I don't know.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Because Brock Purdy's not making shit. Right, he doesn't, and Brock Purdy's not the kind of quarterback that's like, oh, pay me, because he's not that type of human. He'll get paid next year when his contract is up, because they've already been talking about it. But he got the league minimum for he was Mr. Irrelevant. But I know that was the thing with Saquon and with Daniel Jones. They had their rookie contracts, and the Giants did what they did, the fucks. But it's still there in some fashion.
You're right. He was making what the league minimum, $250,000 a year the first year or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
what he's still making? Because he hasn't really
Yeah.
had a contract.
Oh yeah,
yet?
no, he's not. They're not doing any contract stuff until I think after this year.
That's
if
what I
remember
thought.
correctly.
So yeah, you're right. Come to think of it, I have heard him mention he's making $250,000 a year.
Well, yeah, because in San Francisco, like all said and done, he makes like less than around 900. No, was it 900 grand? Let's go. You
might be right. Fuck, I don't know. I know it was a very small amount of money because the quarterback for the Oregon Ducks made $7.1 million this year. He's driving a fucking Ferrari.
Right. Yeah. Brock Purdy is set to earn a base salary of $985,000 in 2024. It stems from his 4-year contract worth $3.7 million with the San Francisco 49ers, which he signed June 2nd, 2022. His average salary amounts to $934,252. So that was the league minimum that they would pay him. So, but still, almost $4 million. That's fair.
To go out there and risk your life.
Well, but you're playing a game, man. At the end of the day,
I'm just comparing it to this guy's going and playing baseball, which his odds of getting injured at the level that Brock Purdy's odds of getting injured are slim to none, right?
Right, exactly.
And you're talking about close to $1 billion versus...
Well, yeah, in 2025, Purdy will make $1.1 million because that's the last year of his contract that he has. Wow. Yeah. And his stats for being I don't want the fucking every game career stats. So 68% completion percentage, which is a fucking good completion percentage by all means. He's thrown 8,600 plus yards. He's had 59 touchdowns with 23 interceptions, and his passer rating for his career, the 3 years they don't have, and this year included 22, 23, 24. His passer rating is 106.8.
But if you compare that to what you just said about how much Juan Soto just got paid, what did Dak sign for? What was it? $270 million?
Yeah, 60. Where is it at?
Well, his whole contract was like $270 million or something, $240 million.
I'm looking it up.
My point is, it pales in comparison to $700 million.
$65 million. $765 million. Don't sell it short, Mike. $765 million.
Almost $800
So he did a 4-year, $240 million contract.
That's what I thought.
So, and what is there? 18 games plus preseason. There's 2. So 240. Excuse me where I do math, boys and girls.
Well, I guess that's going to be.
So it's 60 million. It's 60 million a year. Okay, divided by the 18 games, it's 3.3 million a game basically.
So then there's going to be Juan Soto's agents. That's going to be his argument. My guy's got to play 162 games.
Right, and exactly. Well, yeah, but fucking come on. He didn't play. He only played one season, 1 year since he's been in baseball. He played the entire season. Never before.
I know. I'm just being his advocate while I'm sitting.
You are.
That's what I'm going to say.
No, you are absolutely. And Dak Prescott's going to make $833,000 per quarter played. So
that's fucking crazy.
What's crazy is he's on injury reserve now because he got hurt 3 weeks ago. So he's making that money regardless, and he hasn't done shit to show that he's earned to make that money. Which is the fucking
played
thing.
Fucking terrible.
Which is the fucking thing with numbnuts, Daniel Jones. And Tom Brady, and we kind of talked about this before. Tom Brady had made a reference of the Giants allowed him to walk away, and the fact that he asked to be removed from the Giants team, knowing that they invested all that money and time in him, was bullshit. That shows you the character of Daniel Jones. Everybody, Daniel Jones is such a nice guy. Fuck you, he's not a nice guy. The Giants backed him. They paid him. They set him up for the rest of his fucking life and his children's life and his grandchildren's life if he plays with his money right.
I agree.
Generations from now will not have to worry about anything if he does right with his money. He should be in the Giants practice squad, cleaning up after the other players, grabbing their jocks and towels, fucking with his head down because, yes, I stole all this money from New York Giants football because I suck ass, and wrote out his career there contractually, and then just let the fucker go.
He had an opportunity to fulfill his obligation, which was to, be the franchise tag.
Right.
Which is it's not like you're just a player on the team, right? I agree with you. They invested a huge chunk of their salary cap into this guy who didn't perform and didn't really even act like he tried to get better ever. He just kept getting worse.
Yeah. Not only, So we're not going to talk about Daniel Jones because we're tired of Daniel Jones talk. He's a motherfucker.
No, but that's a good example of you're right. He stole $60 million from him.
Yeah, and the only reason why they let him go from a financial standpoint is they were only on the hook for 22 million as opposed to 47.
Correct. Right.
Which, okay, but fucking release him with an asterisk. Motherfucker cannot do anything with anybody else ever until this. That's what they should do, dude. I just had an epiphany.
Lay it on me.
If you cut a player who's making stupid money, right? They are not allowed to be picked up by another team until that contract is paid out. So if you ask for a release, you automatically lose the remaining of your funds, and
If you ask for a release.
right, your remaining paycheck is null and void. See you later, bye. You get dick.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Let's call them. I got the Giants' phone number. We should figure out how to make phone calls.
Get the commissioner on the podcast.
I don't have the commissioners, but I got the Giants' phone number. We should figure out how to make calls on this. We can call the Giants front office every now and then. You know, your team is, you know, it'd be fun. You know. Do
You would want that to be a league-wide thing, no, not just for the Giants.
Oh, yeah, we do it league-wide. We call every team every other week. So, do you have any screenshots you want to talk about?
Tell me about the party first.
Oh, the birthday party. Okay,
Yeah.
So we had Nikki's birthday party was Saturday, and a DJ came out, completely set everything up, dance floor. It was badass. What he pulled off was really badass. I will say that it's kind of ironic that this past weekend there was more cases of food poisoning. Like Dean's wife had food poisoning, I think for like the 6th time, and something he was invited to at my house, or something invited to with me, which is, you know, really, Dean.
Food poisoning sucks. I feel bad for her. I sympathize.
But come on, it's not. It wasn't food poisoning.
Oh,
this weekend. This is
for anybody that has had food poisoning. I feel sorry for them.
But it's like the 3rd time she's had food poisoning, quote unquote, going to her family's for dinner. That's why I call bullshit. You had people that claimed they were forced to work that didn't show up. People that I've known virtually all my life, that have known Nikki all of our lives together.
Claims they were forced to work.
I was mandated. I have to work. Yeah, fuck you.
Why would you call it work to start with?
Exactly. And then you have someone who had too many kids. Well, then they come find out her youngest kid is in 7th grade. All the other ones are in high school and driving. So really, was it that you had 4 kids, or you're trying to think that I wouldn't ask my wife how many kids you have, you dumb fuck, and realize that you actually have old kids that can stay at home by themselves? So, you know, there's some people that RSVP'd 3 times, so it kind of stuck in my crawl that they had some lame ass excuse or didn't show up at all, and they RSVP'd and knew about the party because I did a week in advance. And that's the problem with December birthdays, right? You get fucked because everybody blah blah blah.
Agreed.
Parties and this and that. So Nikki had a blast. She had fun. You know, we had one of our friends that drove 2.5 hours because his wife came down with the flu, but he valued our friendship and our longevity of friendship enough that he drove 2.5 hours to come to her party. Yet
That's awesome.
Somebody else whose husband had to work stayed at home and twiddled her thumbs. So, you know, and everybody knew it was the 3rd, 4th party we've thrown our entire lives together, which is 30 years. So it's not like we're doing another one anytime soon.
Right.
And all of you that wanted to come see our house and, I can't wait to see your house, you can fuck off because you're never being invited back over.
And that's the way. That's one thing you and I have in common in spades. I have no problem with it. I'm not gonna sit and hold a fucking grudge or anything. But you know, I agree with exactly what you just said. That's we have that in common.
Yeah, and there's a couple. There's a couple of those people that didn't show that's gonna kind of stick at me for a while because it just.
I'm not saying it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But,
no, it's more. It's more of an irritation because they're both our friends. Like Nikki and I are both these people friends that didn't show and had these fucking stupid excuses, which is all bullshit. Because legit, this weekend was full of broken feet, food poisoning, and forced to work, pneumonia. Like, okay, So you had a certain amount of people that RSVP'd, and then there's other people that that didn't show up. Like, this is funny, dude. I text them the next day. Okay, like you didn't show up because you're in Illinois, but I would have sent you this text, right? Because you didn't show up and you said you were going to be there. Hey, Mike, it was great catching up with you last night at the birthday party.
I fucking love it.
Only one responded.
That's a good one.
And they spun their bullshit tales too.
Oh, no.
Oh, we had a family fucking event that went catastrophic and we couldn't get out. Fuck you, dude. Just fuck off. You're a grown ass man. You tell whoever is creating chaos, fuck you, I'm leaving. I have an event to go to. You know, and that was somebody who RSVP'd 2 days before. So it's like, you know, whatever, dude. Just fuck off.
Or just be honest. I was a fucking
just
asshole.
Exactly. Just
I didn't
fucking,
show up.
Right. Just
how would you
fucking,
and I have handled it if we were in the band together and we had to move on at that moment in time? I fucked up. I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
It's done. Can we move
Exactly.
on?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shake your hand, give you a hug. Sorry,
Right.
man. I'm really sorry. Mm-hmm. And you would have known that I was, right?
Right.
Because I'd have probably been fucking teared up or something. I really apologize. I know it meant something to you. I fucked up.
Right.
How hard is that?
It's not. But instead, they ignore the text of, hey, Mac, it was great catching up with you on Saturday night at the party. And then the ones that did bail last minute, ghost. No text to Nikki, no phone calls, no happy birthday wishes. Just that's the sound of silence, boys and girls.
Yep.
So
yeah, I'll say I had an awesome 50th birthday party too, and like Nikki, I know exactly who was there. Mm-hmm. And there was a group of people that I looked out and I was speechless. I was like, man, you know, you really realize what your life means to you at that moment in time with the people you're staring at, right?
Yeah.
And thank you again, Sunshine and Mama Kay, for putting on that huge event. It was awesome, unexpected. I didn't know any of this was happening. You know,
When was that?
A year ago in
Okay,
August.
well, fucking Mama K, where's my invite, man?
We weren't doing the podcast yet.
It doesn't matter.
You missed it,
Mama
by
K. What the fuck? What the fuck, Mama K?
She was not in charge of that. And Sunshine would not have known you other than to know
because
that
I
you were
would
the
have,
singer in Nemesis.
because
I know.
If I could have pulled that shit off, I would have flown in for the weekend for the party.
We were like a year too late of starting this because that would have been awesome. I know.
Because you would have had no idea. I would have been just walking the house. Holy shit, it's Iron Dog. What the hell?
Yeah, we were literally a year too late.
Yeah, okay.
But it was awesome, and it was touching, and it makes me emotional to think about it, just like it will her for a long time. Like you said, it's a milestone. You don't do it every year. But to get to 50 years old is a milestone. So
and that's
it was
the thing. Yeah.
I'm glad
and
she had a good time for sure.
Oh yeah, but like if it was 48th or 35th or 29th, whatever, fucking 25, 50.
Yeah.
25 and 50. 21, yeah, but then 25 and 50. Quarter century, half century. And it was clear. It was on all the invites. It was told, and it was texted, and it was Facebook event page, and it was a Facebook group. I mean, there was so many touches that you knew from August, like you knew in August what was going on.
Right.
So there's no excuse. The people that didn't show up, that's just like you said, it just shows me, okay, we know you weren't there. And that just still boggles my mind that none of them responded to that text, except for one.
Or to make up stories. I fucking hate those people.
Right. Be honest with me. And see, here's what's funny. There's a friend of ours from high school that we know, going on 35 years. She noticed it was Nikki's birthday on Facebook. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I think she texted Nikki and told her, hey, I know it's your birthday. Yes, night. I want to send you something. She sent her a digital gift card to Starbucks. She wasn't invited, but she knows one of the persons that pulled bullshit excuse the last minute that has yet to say a word to Nikki about the birthday. So that just kind of shows you right there, like, what the fuck? Like this person doesn't hang out with us on a regular basis, type of thing, but she knows us and we know her. And she's really close with one of the persons, I'm not dropping the name, that was supposed to show up and pulled this pussy ass shit 2 hours before. So
one thing that you alluded to earlier is the 50th. It's like it's not just it's not any birthday.
It's legitimately it's one of the biggest birthdays people will celebrate, because you may fucking celebrate 75. Well, let's have a kegger. You're 75.
And by the time you make it to 50, you think about all the people in your life that didn't make it that far, that were like within a couple years of your age because of car accidents or, God forbid, cancer or whatever. Shit happens.
It does.
The fact you make it there, and the fact that somebody would invite you to be there, like you said, that was within driving distance. If somebody's within a half hour of you, 45 minutes, you probably should be there.
Yeah, and the even people from my office came in. My office is downtown.
Not
Phoenix.
probably. You should be there.
Right, and my office is downtown Phoenix. It's 45 minutes from me on any given day. And I had about everybody I invited from the office, because they're mutual friends, showed up.
And those are the people, Chris, right off the top of my head that I can think of that touched me the most, was people that had no fucking reason to be there other than... I talk to them every day, maybe. I say hello, good morning, and, we start shooting the shit or whatever. They're not really people I hang out with, and those kind of people showed up, and I was like, wow, man, just being nice to people works out sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does pay off. I don't mean to sound corny or cheesy. But...
No, but it's not. It's not corny or cheeseball. It's legit. You're invited to share a moment that is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. It will never happen again.
That's how you said it. Thank you. I'm glad you said it again.
It will never, ever, ever, ever happen again. So when you bail out 2 hours before and say, oh, I'm going to take you to dinner, fuck off, dude. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Just go fucking be a fly in the wall somewhere, because you think dinner's going to make up for an event that will never happen again. I will never have a big sign, a lit up sign that says Nikki in my backyard.
Which was awesome, by the way.
That was way fucking cool, right?
So
There'll never be a boom truck that's constantly airing footage from our 30 years together on all three sides, cycling through with videos. That was
also very cool.
Jake sent a video. Jake was the only one that had a legitimate excuse. I'm a fucking Marine. I'm a drill instructor, and the government won't let me leave.
Correct.
Right?
That's a pretty good excuse.
But he still sent a video. I mean, granted, it's his mama, but still, That's
so
awesome. Those are things that you can't, you will never see. Like, you will never see it. Aside from what I threw up on Facebook, the walking around and stuff, the people that didn't show missed out on a truly unique experience that will never happen again. And it just solidifies the fact that, well, are you really our friends, or are you just friends by association of this? Like, because we go to the Rattlers game, or because we go to the Diamondbacks game, or because we work out together, or because you want something from us, because there's always those friends too, right?
Yes. Also adorable people. Only hear from them when they need something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love those. That's like one of the ones that did the 2 hour prior to, we're his rock and his strength and blah, blah, blah. When he's preaching to the choir, Nikki and I are walking on water. We're God's greatest thing that's ever put in his life. And yet, so, But other than that, it's absolutely wonderful. She had a blast. Our kitchen island is full of flowers and cards and gift cards, and just like you saw the kitchen island from one of the podcasts. So that thing legit is end to end, halfway full with just stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Little Man and Trip were there the entire time. They had fun. Little Man was breakdance. I don't know where the fucking Little Man learned how to breakdance, man. Because like
he's got some moves, man.
He does got some moves. But
I saw a couple of the videos.
But how do you at 4.5, almost 5 years old, how do you breakdance, man? How do you know breakdancing?
Because nobody's told him he can't yet. That's been scientifically proven to get nerdy on you. Yes.
Oh, right on.
If we just wouldn't, I don't know how you would do it, and this has been debated on many podcasts, but
okay.
I don't know how you would do it, but if you would leave kids the fuck alone, we would learn way more about how we're supposed to be living, I think, than we do. I think that's the key right there is that innocence when nobody has told you can't, or you don't know that you can't, allows you to be able to.
Yeah.
So he just watching him, you know, he's got rhythm. So
He does.
he finds the beat and his body just moves that way, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's told him he can't do it yet.
Yeah.
The first person that tells him he can't dance, he'll get self-conscious.
Yeah.
That's the scientific part of it.
Yeah. You've seen, I'm sure you've seen it because I sent it to you with him with his little red guitar.
Yeah.
And he just fucking rocks out. Like, and he like nobody, I don't watch when he's around. We're watching kid shit, right? Like today we watched Peppa Pig and fucking, what the fuck was it? Some crazy frog songs and I don't know, just silly 5-year-old stuff. So it's not like I'm watching, you know, the Scorpions Worldwide Live and you see, you know, Matthias Jobs with the flying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because nobody's told him he can't dance, his brain, that, you know, left side or right, whatever it is, the artistic side, it picked up whatever beat he was listening to.
Oh yeah.
And it literally spun his body around.
Oh yeah, I'm not doubting that at all. I'm more referring to the guitar playing. When he plays that guitar, he plays and he holds it and he's like jamming out. Like I don't.
Once again,
mean, you know, it's just natural, man.
Yeah.
It's just natural.
That's the pose I went to too. With the
just rock
pool
and roll
cue,
boys and girls.
Air guitar, and at his age.
Rock and roll boys and girls. So enough about that. We missed last time we chatted. We missed about the whole talking about good old Grandpa Joe and the pardoning of his son and just the absolute fucking chaos that the world went, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the obvious, it's his son, boys and girls. It's his flesh and blood. It's his kid.
Yes.
Do you really think in your heart of hearts, deep down in your house, when you're balled up in a corner crying because Biden pardoned his son, that he wasn't going to do so?
Let me put it into perspective even better than that. So
Please.
You are a married man
I am.
of 30 years, almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years, yep.
Okay, almost 30 years.
Yep.
So put yourself in Chris's shoes if you're anywhere 10 years or prior or longer because you've put in the time and you're not willing to give up, right?
Right.
But especially if you're 25 years or longer.
Sure.
If your kid fucked up, even on that scale, no matter what you said as the husband, behind closed doors at night, your wife is going to tell you what to do to save that kid. And you're either going to be fucking divorced or you're going to save the child because that is her child, right?
Yep.
You ever seen a mama bear with her cubs? That's a mother with her son and daughter and with her children for sure, right?
Yep.
You know damn well you're going to listen to your wife at that point and you're going to do whatever it takes to save the kid or you're not going to be married anymore.
Correct. Now, to be devil's advocate here, okay?
I'm not saying that all fathers would automatically be hard asses, but at the end of the day, mom's going to say, we're saving Junior, right?
Well, number one, Biden doesn't know he's married. So he doesn't know who mom is because he doesn't know who he is, as you've seen by the videos. That
it's a bad example.
He pees his diaper. But here's the thing. I want to swing the pendulum here.
No, mine's not a bad example. His is.
No, but I want to swing the pendulum here and talk about Trump. Okay, when he left office in 2020, he ultimately granted 237 grants of clemency by Trump. Only 25 of those came through the Office of Pardon attorney's process, but 237 grants of clemency. So, do you hate on him for that? Because again, Mike and I, we don't give a fuck who the president is. Just fucking do a good job and don't fuck up our country.
Yes, please.
But like legit, 237 people. I'm not gonna read all this, but there's military personnel that he pardoned. There's congressmen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
If it was
9.
one of his kids, he would have done it for his kids too in a
well,
fucking
and Trump
heartbeat.
didn't. I don't think Trump said shit about the
I don't think he
pardoning,
did.
what Biden did. No, the people did, and that's why I'm pointing this out because he pardoned or granted clemency to 9 congressmen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They
9,
all do it.
not
You can go back. Every one of them's done it.
10 wealthy individuals.
I think Obama actually did the most, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll go to Obama in a minute. He did. The Blackwater guards that were convicted of killing Iraqi civilians, he pardoned them. White collar criminals such as Michael Milken and Bernard Kerik, he pardoned them. Ivanka's father-in-law, Charles, he pardoned him. Guess what? That's because it's his father-in-law. Because why? Mike just said the hammer on the head. Melania went to Trump and said, baby, you want me dropping down to your ding-a-ling? You're going to pardon my dad. And guess what Trump did? You got it, baby. Because it's fucking family, period.
Nepotism.
So exactly. And they're claiming nepotism for Trump's choice of people in fucking cabinet. Fuck you. He's the president. He can choose whoever the fuck he wants. That's part of being elected president. Don't
you know what I find
in 4 years, vote again.
You know what I find hilarious?
What?
It's not even all these statistics. It's the fact that people lose their mind because they only have enough brain power to regurgitate what they fucking heard on the news. And if they really sat and thought about what they were saying, they would be saying the opposite of what I hear come out of their mouth when they talk about their own family. I would die for my own family. I would go to war for my own family.
Yeah.
Family is everything.
Family.
I'm not saying I believe in any of this. I'm lucky. I got a good family, but not everybody does. So a lot of that bullshit that got ingrained into people's minds was brainwashing. And then, it, later come to find out it was child abuse, but you're still going to defend your own, right?
Exactly.
And then to sit and look at somebody else's family and say, "Oh, I never do." He said he'd never do that. Fuck, I'd never do that if I were there, man. I'd burn that kid at the stake. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't. Nope.
And quit kidding yourself and quit just repeating what fucking people tell you on the news, for Christ's sake, because that's where it comes from. It's not the news. It's entertainment.
It is entertainment. I'll say. So this is going to blow your mind, okay? Going to blow your mind.
All right.
Trump, 237 people, right? I didn't check how many Biden did.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, fucking Obama. Of the acts of clemency, 1,715 were granted immunity, pardons, whatever.
I knew it was a lot.
Including 504, boys and girls, 504 life sentences. So those 504 life sentences are people that either rape or murdered probably, right? Because you don't get life sentence for burglary. So raping.
Yeah, but we can't say that without saying that might have been the marijuana deal.
It could have been. They
might have been in there for dealing marijuana.
Well, we'll give a little bit of that.
I think that was it. If you look that up, to be honest with you.
So we'll give a little bit of that. But of the 1,715, 504 were life sentences. 212 were pardons. Most individuals were granted executive clemency by Obama had been you're right, convicted of drug charges and had lengthy and sometimes mandatory sentences at the height of the war on drugs.
Yes. Which were fucking ridiculous.
Yep. Oh yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
The war on drugs was bullshit.
Well, that was a way to make the government to make money with each other. Bill Clinton. Okay. Wow. Bill Clinton pardoned only 41 people.
He was busy, dude.
He was busy doing Monica.
He had a lot going on.
Biden pardoned. Oh, this okay, cool. So here we go. So George W. Bush, 200 people. Barack Obama, it was 1,927 people that he pardoned. Donald Trump, 237. Joe Biden, 26. Wow. Oh, fuck me, dude. This goes on forever. So this is all of them. So Biden just did 27. Trump did 237. Barack Obama, 1927. George W. Bush, 200. Bill Clinton, 459. I did not have sex with that woman on my desk. I just shot my load on her dress. George W. Bush. Now, I'm going to be prudent. 77 people were pardoned. Ronald Reagan, 406. Jimmy Carter, your favorite president, 566.
I like Jimmy Carter.
Which excludes over 200,000 pardoned for the Vietnam draft evasion. So he basically had 200,566 people. Gerald Ford, 409. And guess who Gerald Ford pardoned? That's right, boys and girls. President Nixon.
Damn right.
He did 926
I am not a crook.
Pardons, right? Lyndon B. Johnson, 1187. John F. Kennedy, which is weird because he died in office somehow from the grave, 575. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1157. Harry S. Truman, 2044. And I think I'm not going to go all over these, but I'm going to drop this one because this is fucking insane.
Well,
Franklin D. Roosevelt, 3,687 pardons.
holy shit.
Right.
I bet a lot of those were related to World War II, though, and they were bullshit convictions for like communism and shit.
Yeah, probably. But still, that's fucking insane.
Remember when they thought everybody was a communist?
Oh, well, yeah.
We got taught that in history.
Yeah. So speaking of communism, Nikki and I watched Fly Me to the Moon last night. It's a Netflix movie.
Okay.
It's a conspiracy theory type thing, right? Because it's all about. I'm marking these spots here. So Netflix has a show called Fly Me to the Moon. Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson actually produced it, which is pretty cool. It's all about the conspiracy behind the lunar moon landing. So they actually had, and it's based on a book written by two people. I didn't look it up, the book, to see if those two people were actually legit part of it, but it kind of sounds like Scarlett Johansson's character was legit part of this. She was an ad.
I've done a lot of research in this area, right?
I do. So they had a soundstage built on NASA. They built
That's a true story.
Yeah, they built.
Who was involved in it, right?
The CIA.
Well, also they got, who was the famous director that did?
I know. I don't remember who his name was, but yeah, they had a famous director, the guy that turned down Valley of the Dolls. Yeah.
Think of it.
Yeah. So they had this complete soundstage built, everything to mimic the moon, like 100%, to mimic the moon landing. Well, the last minute, one of the engineers runs they go to the town and they broke the camera. I got to back up. They broke the camera on purpose. So when they went to the moon, they would think they were filming, but they were actually filming the soundstage in Cape Canaveral. So one of the engineers goes to this TV store in town, breaks in, grabs a TV set because they need that whatever the fuck lens to put on the camera. So puts it on the camera right before they take off. It's like, ooh, racing to save the day. While they're simultaneously filming the moon and the stage, a fucking cat gets loose in the soundstage and disrupts chaos. Well, luckily for NASA, the actual filming was legit, was coming from the moon at the time, according to the movie. So you didn't see the cat running through Armstrong's legs on the moon. So because they allowed the actual feed to occur on the moon, we actually did land on the moon according to the movie and the book. But we had a backup plan that we were going to film a mock landing on the moon, and they synced up the audio. So as Neil Young was going down the ladder, speaking, right, Neil Armstrong, sorry.
Neil Young wrote "Rockin' in the Free World."
That's right. So they had the actor portraying Neil Armstrong go down the ladder. So they were syncing the voice audio with what Neil was doing up there down here because they could hear it all. So it was fascinating because at the end of the day, that they were gonna.
That's one popular theory.
Yeah. So that's what the movie's about. It's Fly Me to the Moon. It's pretty good. It's a comedy. It says it's a comedy. There's only a few things that are comedic in it. It's more of a drama.
The other common theory is that none of the video survived. We did go to the moon, and it was all faked. Everything that you saw was actually what was. Who's the guy that did? What is it? 21,000 Leagues Under this? Not that one.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Whoever that director was. Was it that guy?
Hold on.
Oh, this is killing me, dude. I don't often get stumped forever. It usually comes to me.
Richard Fleishner.
No, fuck, that's not it. It's like an Oliver Stone, but the other guy. He's dead now.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, no. It can't be that one.
Huge director.
Oh, fuck. Now I got one in my head.
See?
I can't pull his name out. Fuck, dude.
Tony Palmer screaming at the fucking podcast. Screaming right now, ladies and gentlemen. You fucking idiots.
It's not Alfred Hitchcock, right?
No.
Okay.
Later than that, but he did a lot of the big movies that I can't. None of them are coming. Stanley Kubrick. Stanley
really?
fucking Kubrick.
Okay.
NASA hired Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
To supposedly do exactly what Chris just described, set up an entire fake lunar landing module on basically set up the moon surface in a Hollywood studio.
Yeah. Well, it was in Cape Canaveral, so it was actually on NASA's base because
the other theory is it was done in a Hollywood studio.
Oh, okay.
Because it would be easier to make a mock moon base.
That's possible. So the movie made it because movies all waver off the actual.
Well, they take artistic direction just like we do with songs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You might be telling a story about killing someone. You didn't really go out and kill someone.
This is true.
They take artistic license. That's the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah, artistic license.
And there's a lot of different theories, Like I said, there's a theory that none of the video survived because it couldn't make it through the Van Allen radiation belt. There's, 700,000 times the amount of radiation as an X-ray.
From the ship coming back. Oh.
Going there and coming back, they had to go through this massive, what they call Van Allen radiation belt. And it's got just like 20 to 30, I don't know, so many times the radiation that we would have here on Earth.
Right.
And as you know, you can't stick your camera in the old days with film through a baggage checker. You had to tell people, hey, I got a camera in there, whatever, and then they would check it.
Yeah.
Because the baggage checker thing is magnetic because it's looking for guns and shit like that.
Right. And
it would ruin your film.
Right.
So
but the feed was sent to NASA, so therefore,
somehow,
yeah.
At the end of the day, I used to say, how could that many people keep a
secret
for that long? But I just read this. I'll find it in a minute. But anyway, these motherfuckers in World War II, like the last one just died or some shit. And in his will, he was like, hey, we were these people. And nobody knew forever. I'll find it. It's one of those things I saved.
Well, and the way they addressed it on the movie, the chick, the advertising exec that was kind of pimping all this together, she had kind of a shady background. So he basically told her, like, look, this ever fucking breathes a word, you're disappearing. Like, you're just gone off the face of the earth. The other ones, the Kubrick and the people around him that were actually on the set, the 6-7 people, he gave everybody shots. It was Woody Harrelson's character. Everybody got a shot. And he's basically like, you fucking breathe a word of this shit, you're in the deepest, darkest hole for the rest of your life. And back then, that was legit. If you were threatened by the government, because the government government was the big bully back then, right? It wasn't, you're talking the 60s, into the era of the decade of the 60s, but the police state and the police power and the government and the military in America, granted, I was just born in 70, but I'm sure Steele and Mama Kay can vouch for that was like, you don't fuck around with that shit. Like, you don't get out of your car and mouth off to a cop. You get your ass beaten and thrown in the fucking jail. Like,
and even more important than that.
Yeah.
At that time in history, people still believed that the government was on their side.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
They were never, ever.
No.
And if you do enough research, you'll find out they were never, ever.
They've never been on our side. They're
like, they might have been worse back then to some degree. I think and even earlier than that, they were fucking ruthless. Like you're saying, they were ruthless, killing fucking machines back then.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That wasn't even a threat. It was just a statement. But you take that statement to heart because especially if you're working for NASA or somewhere entwined with NASA, and all this shit that they've covered up, because they've covered so much shit up because it's just now coming out about aliens, and we all know aliens have been around for a long fucking time, but they're now just dropping,
that's a whole podcast unto itself.
Right, but that's the thing, dude. There's so much alien activity, it's insane. Like, I've seen stuff recently, people filming in Chandler, fucking alien ships, like these weird fucking 8 lights going in weird different directions, zooming up and down. Like, how do you explain that shit? I don't know. Do I think there's aliens? I do. Because think about it. Who would have had the idea to make the show My Favorite Martian in the 60s, right?
I'm not saying they're not.
Right.
And I do find it fascinating that in, let's say, less than 200 years, we went from sailing on wooden fucking ships to I'm literally trying to find information on this crazy phone that has probably 100,000 times the capacity that module that flew to the moon that you just described in processing power, right? You and I are literally doing a podcast 2,000 miles apart.
Right.
and I'm surfing the fucking web on my phone.
Right.
We're like in real time here.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's
It's
fiber
fucking
optics.
crazy.
Like fiber optics, right? Okay, so let's talk fiber optics now because
Less than 200 years ago, we're in wooden ships hoping we survive the fucking voyage to the new world, right?
Right. Exactly. So that's my point here. Technology, right? So you have
Gotta have
fiber
enough
optics.
orange juice.
You have right, but you have fiber optics, okay? Like you
Yes.
have the fiber optics now internet, which is fucking insanely fast for you, okay?
Light speed, yes.
Right. So I see these fuckers every day standing on the side of the road. Shit you not. They're standing, boys and girls, you can't see me, but I'm using my hands as a circle motion like I'm choking somebody. They're standing on the side of the road in this spot and they're pulling out, kind of like you're pulling up rope. You're in a tree and you're pulling up a bucket of
That's
soda,
what it is.
right? They're pulling up all the other cable because as they pull that line up and they keep pulling, and I'm shit you not, the dude that I passed by the other day, he had a pile probably 3 or 4 inches, like you couldn't see his feet because he was just pulling up. Motherfucker probably sat there for an hour and just pulled up. That was his job that day. So he's probably really sore tomorrow because, cable guys don't work out at all because they just usually stand there and I'll be there between 10 and 5 and they get there at 4:55 because the rest of the day they're sitting around watching cable and smoking bowls. So
Hold on. The install crew is separate from the guys you're talking about.
okay, my point is this: they had fiber optic.
I'm just giving the
technology.
guys who actually do the actual work like you're talking. Those guys are badass. They work.
they
like
are
that.
badass.
They work
They are
like that every day.
They are badass.
I had a fat pudgy guy come, and nothing against fat pudgy guys, but it's unhealthy. And I'm smoking this vape. That's unhealthy too. You can
Right.
throw that back at me, but I don't know why I even brought that up. You don't see too many fat pudgy guys pulling the fucking cable. That's what I'm saying.
So, but my point is this. Okay, so the whole back to the alien thing. Obviously, they
I
had
want to
fiber-
believe.
Right, but the fiber optic cable has to have come from the alien thing because if fiber optic cable was in existence, why wasn't that cable dropped 20 years ago?
So
Why did they
here's
wait
what.
till now. The last 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Why did they just wait until this time frame to do that? That's the question.
So I've gone down these rabbit holes so many different ways,
know you
man.
have.
And I always want, now that I'm what I'd consider sane again, ladies and gentlemen, I always want to try and live in reality as much as possible. But these are the conversations that I look forward to the most. So
Yeah,
I guess I got to
absolutely.
embrace them again. So
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know.
You do know.
Where's the evidence?
Well, where's the evidence?
Right there.
Right, but
Fiber optic. How come we can't invent fiber optic? Because
That's what I'm
I think
saying.
I alluded to in an earlier podcast. I honestly think that there was a civilization that lived on this earth that was more advanced than we are. Because we're finding out now. I just read a thing. I'll never find it again. But trust me when I tell you, I just read it, so I remember it. Now they know that human beings somehow were here 100,000 years ago, which is breaking news because I can't remember how soon it was 25,000 or whatever. Yeah. It's like many generations older than we had anticipated. So in that 100,000 years, how many generations of people could have lived and died in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 year spans and gotten so far technological, fucked themselves somehow or left. Maybe they're the aliens, right?
Yep.
Do you see how many angles this thing goes down?
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's kind
They
of like
think
how
the
they're-
pyramids were power stations, right? Because they're perfectly fucking alive.
Yeah, they are.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
How did these fucking people who were supposedly using donkeys and slaves to pull fucking boulders, how did they perfectly build this thing that we can barely build today with laser guided fucking laid out, and earth moving equipment? Dude, they laid them out perfectly to the stars.
Oh, yeah.
They're aligned with the North Star and Orion's belt and holy shit. How do you do that?
It's aliens, man.
Or it's a super advanced
Technology.
human civilization.
right.
No.
Okay.
It could have been a human civilization that was way more advanced than us.
True. Absolutely. Like the Jetsons. Like literally.
We're so fucking arrogant. We think, we're the smartest people that ever lived.
Right.
They
And
might have
we're-
known how to levitate 2-ton boulders into place.
They know how to levitate all kinds of shit because it's there. But I like that way of thought, that there's been generations of people that reached the epitome of technology. But the question with that is, like with all the archaeologists out there digging shit up, you think they would find evidence of said technology because all they found is rudimentary tools in our eyes anyway, right? Like, like when we die, when somebody comes to our world, say 100 years from now, our relics are going to be cell phones and fucking fiber optic cable and, solar panels and, all this advanced technology. So these earbuds, the earbuds that translate language, like I just ordered some of those earbuds. So next time Nikki and I go do our pedicures, they're Korean. So we're going to have the earbuds in. And we're going to hear everything they're saying.
You got to report back on
like
this.
The Seinfeld episode.
I got to fucking
right?
do this.
Right? The fucking the I forget what they're called, but they're language translating earbuds. You put them in and it's real time, and whatever language is going on, it will translate it into your ears. So
I love it.
So I go, what is going to do with my toha? And you're going to hear, oh, he has big feet. He must have a big cock. Things like that, because we're going to be able to pick that up. And then we can like look at them and be like, what'd you say? So it's going to be
back
fun,
to
man.
back to the aliens. Here's
Back
another.
to the aliens. Okay.
I like where you're going. You got to report back on the fucking
Oh yeah. I
what
will.
the Koreans. I got to know how this works because I'll order a pair if they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another thought that I had was, if they're so advanced that they're coming here, do you ever notice that we always put things? They call it whatever it is, anthropomorphizing. I can never say that word, but it's when you give human characteristics to an animal, right?
Okay,
However
yeah.
you say that word.
Yeah.
Anyway, you ever notice as human beings, we always put things into what we know and can see, and it's got to be. How do we know? Why would it be a ship?
Well, I think because
Why wouldn't it be why wouldn't they be invisible or a cloud if they're so advanced? Listen,
I agree with that.
another thing that I saved was, here's how long, we always think somehow we're going to go explore space, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would take like 1,000 fucking, or 100,000 or 1,000,000 fucking years just to get to the edge of the galaxy.
Right. Hyperbaric chambers, man.
What I'm saying is, if they're so advanced that they can, because if
Well,
you
it's
listen
space time. It's they're time traveling, dude. It's space time continuum. That's the only thing it could be. They understand how to go from point A to
they
point B.
can bend space and
Right.
time.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there's stuff. There's conspiracy theories and shit. I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it. There's this thing on a couple of things I follow on social media that the glitch in the matrix. Like they'll show. Black and white 1950s people walking down the sidewalk, and this chick has a cell phone. Well, what the fuck? How does this chick have a cell phone in the 1950s?
Yeah, but a lot of that is brilliant. I'm not gonna.
Oh, I'm not saying it's legit or not because
No. Here's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
And
okay.
to kind of back up what you're just saying,
Mm-hmm.
there are people that I don't toot my own horn very often, but I'm pretty badass at fucking Photoshop because that's what I went to
No.
college for, right?
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I
Mm-hmm.
did some of the best work on a lot of different things that I work. I was sought after as that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Oh,
not saying I could do it now, but a lot of
Right.
those things are Photoshop because
Yeah.
people are there's people that are so much. My buddy Dane
Yeah.
out in Arizona, he still lives out there.
Okay.
He blows me away when it comes to that kind of stuff. He's
Right on.
fucking amazing. He's like Hollywood quality Photoshop kind of guy.
No,
Those
and I
people
don't
are
doubt that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Look at what you're doing with AI, man. Everybody keeps asking me, how the fuck do you make Joe Biden say that shit? I was like, well, Chris has got this program and it's awesome.
So, and here's the other thing too, like with AI, because you brought that up.
So much so that a girl at work came up and asked me how we knew Joe Rogan. She's telling all her friends that we know Joe Rogan. I'm like, I'll tell you that we don't know Joe Rogan, but
That's
you can keep
awesome.
telling your friends that we do.
That's
So I
fucking
explained
awesome.
how you did it, right?
Yeah. It's a parrot. It's an app called Parrot App. Because it's a parrot who talks, right? So it's
Yes.
a talking head. The best one out of all of them is Biden, because Biden always stumbles when he speaks anyway. That it's just, no matter what I do with Biden, it comes
makes
out
it
like
sound, yeah.
yeah. Trump's a little tricky, you got to kind of write the way Trump talks, which I can, and I've done, it's just repeating the same shit over and over again, and super great, wonderful, terrific, just terrific. Mike's a terrific guy. He's just really terrific. And I know this because I know humans, and humans are terrific. And he's
Everybody
super
says I'm
fantastic.
amazing.
He's just a super fantastic guy. He really is, truly, truly. Believe me, he truly is.
I don't want to have to be this great, but people tell me
Right.
I am, so I have to be. I have to be.
Right.
I must be,
Exactly.
because
You
they
must
told
be.
me.
Right,
By
because
the
that's-
hundreds,
yeah.
maybe thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of people. Believe me, I have documents that it's everywhere, and people read those documents and they understand that Mike Michaels of the Chris and Mike Show is just a super terrific, wonderful human being, and I don't know what I'd do without him as a leader of our free country. He's going to take over the medical care, and just super terrific. I point him. So you have to know. You have to understand the personality a bit to understand what to write to make those work. Because some of them don't work. Like I thought Keanu Reeves would be cool, but it just doesn't work. Keanu, he thinks about what he's saying, and you can tell he's thinking about what he's saying before he says it. And so
Yeah,
he's
see,
very
mine
direct.
would be tough because I do that a lot too.
Right. So he's very direct in the words he uses and how he phrases things. He's one of those people that if you ever look at photos and he's around people, his hands are on the outside. Like you'll see his hands. Like he doesn't embrace in a photo. Look at the bottom of the photo, you'll see his hands dangling because
Really?
he doesn't want to. Yeah, he doesn't want to be Me Too.
Okay.
There's a lot of celebrities. If you look at their hands in those group photos, their hands are just dangling on
That's
the sides because they don't want to be accused of anything. And it'd be hard to accuse Keanu of something, but it just takes that one asshole. Kind of like we talked about a long time ago about the Garth Brooks thing, right? We should check in on that Garth Brooks lawsuit. Let's see what's going on with that. It's been a while. Oh, so Garth Brooks wants to move his sexual assault case to federal court.
I'm sure he does. There's probably an advantage.
They moved the sexual assault lawsuit against him from California State Court to federal court, and it was assigned to a federal judge on Friday. This is back November 12th. Same day, Brooks' lawyers asked the district judge to dismiss his accuser's claims and direct her to refile them in Mississippi federal court, where apparently it claimed it happened, or at least pause the case there. She sued him in October. This is a former makeup artist named Jane Roe instead of John Doe. Jane Roe said that he claimed that Brooks raped and sexually assaulted her in 2019. Roe claims the rape occurred when she traveled with Brooks to L.A. for a Grammy tribute performance. I'd like to see footage of before and after that Grammy performance, because you can tell a character of a man by how he's acting, right?
Well, and a lot of those things, man, I'm just like, if you weren't there, you don't know. And if there's facts,
true.
if there's facts that come out that support what she's saying, just like all the women with Bill Cosby, come to find out, Bill Cosby was a fucking rapist.
Right, absolutely.
He just was.
No. Yeah, and
too
I agree.
bad.
Agreed. I mean, I don't
Bill
wanna-
Cosby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to think that Garth Brooks is that human, because he's never come across it. Somebody's like, well, he had an affair on his wife. Okay, shut the fuck up. Having an affair on your wife
Doesn't make you a racist.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Now you want to talk about some shitty ass people. Tom Hanks, his first wife that he married was by his side the entire time till he made it big, and he fucking dumped her ass and married Rita Wilson. So everybody talks about how him and Rita Wilson has been married for like 35 years. Fuck you. Fuck you. His first wife, who stood by his side through all the fucking poor ass, we're eating ramen noodles every day for years, because struggling actors are struggling actors. You struggle. You don't just wake up, I'm an actor now. I'm making $1 million, $10 million, getting paid $10 million per movie. You got to work your way up. It's like being a musician. You ain't shit. You have to go through the dregs of war to get where you are.
And you better hope, that's a good point. You better hope that you have somebody by your side like you did when we were coming up. And if we had ever blown up,
Right.
you guys would have been the same couple you are today,
Yep,
just for the
exactly.
simple fact that that's very important, that somebody doesn't come at you after you've already been famous.
Right.
I heard Lars from Metallica say that. the
Yeah.
reason he married his wife is because she did not know who he was, nor
Yeah.
did she give a fuck.
Right. Well, Bono's been married to the same chick since you like dated in high school. So,
But Lars married her after he was famous. That's what made it
Oh, right
important
on.
because when they met, she was like, I don't know who you are and I really don't fucking care. I just think you're cool, you know?
right. You're a short little guy.
Yep.
I'm taller than you. Yay.
But that is important because
It is, and that's why I think it's funny when people talk about the longevity of marriage in Hollywood. When you got to really look at it, like, wait a minute, okay, so he's been married to Rita Wilson. Rita Wilson is in that world, and he met her in a movie. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of people praise what they want to praise without looking at the entire story.
Here, I got something for you.
Okay.
New laws going into Illinois in 2025. So I'm going to give you the good ones first.
Okay.
So I can't believe this was ever a thing, but the elimination of sub-minimum wage for disabled workers, we were able to pay disabled workers less than minimum wage because they were disabled. That's fucked up.
Well,
So in 2025, we finally rectified that. Thank you.
wow.
Just because someone's disabled doesn't mean they shouldn't make minimum
Well,
wage.
here's the thing. In Arizona, Eddie Basha, who you know Bashas. For those of you who don't know Arizona, Eddie Basha was a homegrown boy who actually created an Arizona-grown supermarket called Bashas.
Very nice.
So
stores.
Eddie Basha, who was a very upstanding citizen in our state, like just
Yes.
one of those people that
Upstanding for sure. Did
Totally.
a lot for Arizona.
Oh, big time. Ran for governor, fucking lost to Symington. How'd that work out? Because then Symington fucking went to prison for,
Hey, he likes aliens too.
right? So Eddie had a program with a company called the Mark Center, which at the time stood for Mesa Association of Retarded Citizens, because it was, it's a group home company. I don't know what they call. I don't know what the acronym is now, but that's what it stood for then. So don't get pissed at me because that's what they called themselves. But what Eddie did is he allowed the higher functioning Down syndrome, autistic, mild MR, just the ones that could function.
Which is
with
basically
little-
who you worked with when you worked at the group homes, right? People
Right,
who could
exactly.
they could live independent to a point, right?
Exactly. So they would come, they would go into the day program. The day program, they would take them to Bashes, and their jobs, basically, they don't do it anymore because Eddie died, was stocking the shelves, facing the cans, dusting the food, and stocking the shelves. That's what they did. Anytime you went to Bashes, you would see, right away, because there's typically it was Downs, because Downs was high functioning enough. Downs was Down syndrome, boys and girls, high functioning enough, but they had the little ticks, right? But these were ones that could go to the bathroom by themselves, and they could follow instruction and time and things like that. So they were 3 eggs short a dozen eggs, but the 9 eggs they had made them function to the level that you could tell by looking at them they were different, right? But you knew they weren't a threat. Like I flew a guy that was moderate MR back and forth 3 times to his home state, and unless he opened his mouth, he had no idea. Like, we kept him very clean shaven. He had a beard. His hair. I mean, he looked, when walking in the airport, you'd think, not to mock it, but Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise. I'm Tom Cruise. He was Dustin Hoffman. You couldn't tell until he opened his mouth. And the way I got him subdued was he loved music because he grew up in the establishment. So his entire life, from the age of like 7.
And a lot of people on the spectrum, music is super soothing to them for sure, which I understand too. I mean, maybe, on a very
absolutely.
small scale, I am too, because that's, I have anxiety really bad. And when I listen to music, it makes my brain do something, right?
Right. So with him, because he grew up in all the group homes in all the eras, I'm talking all the eras, he knew music from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
That's
and the 90s.
awesome.
Like, he knew them all, like all of them. So I would create these mixtapes. So
Before cell phones, ladies and gentlemen.
I would create these mixtapes. I'd get him a Walkman, and as soon as we got on that plane, man, the headphones were on, the music was playing. The only problem I had, okay, which is kind of comical, the only problem I ever had is if it was a song that he really liked, he would start fucking singing it. And when you
Like
when
Eddie
you were-
Murphy on the bus.
yeah, when you're a 38-year-old man, but mentally you're probably 5, you don't give a fuck who's around you when you're singing, knocking on heaven's door, man. You're belting that shit out to the fact the steward just came up. I was like, so I was telling everybody he's my brother because I didn't want to explain everything. I just, this is my brother. He's moderate MR. I got to travel with him. This is how I keep him, cool. But yeah, just imagine in a plane before it takes off, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Hey. And he had this thing he used to do with his hands. Like he
You know what, though? Somehow that would make me happy. Maybe not when I was back, I don't know, 20 years ago. But now somehow hearing that story, it's like it warms your heart. It's,
Yeah, because nobody, and that's the thing. It was the only time I ended up taking him 3 times because nobody would ever take him. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll take him. I knew him for, I can't drop the name. I can't drop the name.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm thinking out loud. Walt Whitman. Most men live quiet lives of desperation, right? He's living in the moment. Yeah. That's the point I'm making. Yeah. I think as human beings, we're trying to be what he's doing right now. This has been debated many times too. Is autism the next, are we evolving as human beings? Because most people who are on the spectrum have some kind of brilliance to them, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So the more that they, scientists and doctors and researchers, the more they study autistic people, they're really starting to think that maybe we are evolving as human beings, right? Because we only understand about 10% of the capacity of the human brain.
Yeah.
That person that you just described was living in the moment. And for me, that's, I think, what I've been striving for my whole life. That's why I was a musician. That's why I love playing music, because it's now. Yeah. You can't think about what you're doing, because the second you think about it, you fuck up, right? You're literally living in the moment when you're playing a song.
Exactly.
So if I was ever trying to do anything, I was trying to get to where the kid in the story you were just saying, or guy, he was 38 years old.
Adult. Yes, he's an adult.
Literally, I think as human beings, we're literally trying to get to where he was. Yeah.
Yep, probably. And that's, that was just the coolest thing about him. So, he broke my nose one time, but he was in a stressful situation and I shouldn't have reached for his lunchbox. And when I reached down to grab his lunchbox, I looked up, he came down closed fist, but the knuckles hit the nose. Whew. Not the punch, like a normal punch. It was the knuckles. So imagine.
Ow.
Yeah, broke my nose. And I sat there and made him watch me bleed. Because I was like, dude, you fucking hit me. You want to talk about an ego crush. Like, dude, you fucking hit me. Like, I hang out with you every fucking day. Like, I'm your biggest champion. Like, I stabilized your life. You fucking hit me. Like, what the fuck? And then he's saying, it's not nice to hit Chris Dunham, is it? It's not nice to hit Chris Dunham, is it? And he was in this cycle where he's just like repeating, I hit Chris Dunham. It's not nice to hit Chris Dunham. And I'm sitting there like, no, it's not. It's not nice to hit
It's not nice to hit Chris Dunham at all.
It's just blood,
Okay.
But, that was a blast. I loved working there.
I got more. Yes. And that was I don't know why, but somehow when you told me what you did for a living, it made sense.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
It was 2 peas in a pod, man. I was at their level because that's the thing.
You're a fun guy. That's why it made sense. It's like, and you were compassionate even then. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris has always been Chris, just for the record. I've evolved and chameleoned into, I don't know how many different people in my life, and it wasn't by design. It's just whatever stupid hell I was living through at the time, or good time, I think served as to what kind of character I had,
Yeah.
Times were tough for me for a long time, and it was the strongest survive, and you do what you have to live. I'm not proud of some of the things I did, but you do what you got to do to live.
Exactly.
Okay, so going on with these laws, because you're going to like some of these.
Okay.
The other good one is employers are now required to post salary and benefits on job listings. Duh. Fuck, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Here's one you'll love. Illinois will allow digital driver's license on your phone. Yay, right? You don't have to carry your driver's license around with you. But if a police officer asks for you, you still got to have it on you. So what's the fucking point? We wasted time making this law. Okay.
Agreed. That's dumb. And then what happens when they take your phone and then you don't have an ID because the cop has your phone? He turns it off, puts it in the evidence bag.
Well, if the cop's there, he's going to be asking for your physical copy. So why the fuck? What's the benefit of having it on my phone now?
That's stupid.
We wasted time with this shit. You should have just said, okay, you can have it on your phone, and now you don't have to carry your driver's license.
Right.
Moving on to other
moving on.
stupid shit. No, actually, this is a good one. So in Arizona, for people that don't know, when you get your license at 21, it's good till you're, 62?
Yeah, something like that.
So Illinois went from 4 years to 8 years, which is an improvement, but that's a good one.
Yep.
Employees can skip mandatory work meetings where political or religious matters are shared. Glad we did that. That's good use of time. Limit employers from using predictive AI in hiring practices. I don't fully understand that one yet.
It's probably to rate the questionnaires.
Okay.
Something to that effect, because you can take
I think
like
you're right.
Yeah, because you could say like, hey, on the Chris and Mike show, we're going to talk about Arizona and Illinois laws that were passed in 2024, and I pump that into Dave and say, Dave, reword this, make it SEO friendly, and give me some keywords. Then he'll tweak it and make it sound better.
You're right.
That's all that is. I would.
So
assume.
the next one I read backwards the first time. I can't believe we allowed this to happen, but now you can't put a crime victim's DNA. You cannot put a crime victim's DNA into a database. I can't believe we allowed the victim's DNA to be entered into a database.
They put the victim's DNA
they used
in a
to.
database. Wow.
Now they cannot do that. Okay.
What's the reasoning behind that? So they compare?
Because there was nothing saying they couldn't. They just did it so they would have it because they're fucking assholes.
Wow. Okay.
Sidebar, and we'll talk about this later.
Okay.
But did you know there's a seed bank in Scandinavia where all the world's seeds are being stored in a vault?
Semen or seeds that you put in the ground?
Seeds.
Okay.
All the seeds that could repopulate the earth in the event of a nuclear war.
In Scandinavia.
Who's controlling that? We'll talk about
Scandinavians.
that later. Anyway,
Scandinavians.
the state must conduct a property tax study, which in Illinois is very important because we pay the second highest property taxes in the entire country. So fucking figure it out, you crooks.
Figure it out, motherfuckers.
Catalytic converter recyclers must record donor vehicles VIN. I like that because that will prevent people from cutting the catalytic converters off. Good use of time.
Yep.
I thought we already had to do this, but you got to yield for emergency vehicles, for the love of God.
Well, we talked about that before.
If
a fire truck, okay, this is a little trivia for you. We've talked about this before, I think, and if we haven't, then it'll be new to you. So a fire truck, a mail truck, and a ambulance, and a police car all show up at the intersection at the exact same time. Who is the right of way?
The mail truck.
Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Give that man a prize. Why? Because it's government. Everybody else can fuck off.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I can't believe that wasn't a law already. So real quick, it says requires drivers who are approaching an emergency scene or a stopped emergency vehicle or a construction zone must make a lane change to yield the right of way if possible. If not, the driver must reduce speed. Is that not fucking common sense?
You think, man.
Okay, so let me get to the one that really blew my fucking mind. Oh, you're going to love this one. This is the one I was looking for. Replace the term offender, quote unquote, with justice impacted individuals, quote unquote. I knew Chris would love this.
Justice impacted individual.
An amendment to the Illinois Crime Reduction Act of 2009 will change references to offenders to justice impacted individuals. The law also creates an adult redeploy Illinois oversight board to oversee a plan to redeploy convicts into public life once they are no longer incarcerated. That's a good use of time.
That is because they get so institutionalized, they don't know how to function.
Well, and they also run into,
you can't get a job because you're a convicted felon. So then what do? They go back to selling drugs and being pimps and hoes and, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, here's another one I want your opinion on.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you how I feel, but bans hotels from using single-use plastic bottles. Now, let me read it to you. A new law will ban hotels with 50 rooms or more from providing guests with single-use plastic bottles and provide civil penalties for operators who violate the rule.
What?
In 2026, hotels with less than 50 rooms will also be banned from offering single-use bottles to guests. Now, while I understand they're wanting to save the environment, how the fuck do you tell a private business what they can offer their guests and what they can't offer their guests as long as it's not illegal? I mean, you can't leave a couple lines of Coke in there as an incentive to stay at Mike's Travel Inn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But why can't I leave them a shampoo bottle or a bottle of water or, you know?
Right. Well, I know recently when we've been traveling, our little things, they don't do, now it's in the shower, they have the thing on the wall.
Okay.
Right? Because they've moved to that as opposed to having the little cups, the little bottles of things. And they do the same thing in the bathroom itself or.
But isn't it a little communistic for the fucking government to tell a private entity what they can and can't do with their business?
Yes, but I think it's more leaning towards the whole, greenhouse effect.
I'm with you, but big,
Yeah.
it's still Big Brother, man. I don't like.
Yeah, I know.
What have I said on this podcast? No adult should ever tell another adult what they can and can't do as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what you do with your 24 hours in your day, and you don't give a fuck what I do as long as you and I are both not hurting anybody else, including ourselves, right?
Right, exactly.
Most days we have pretty good days and we're productive members of society. We don't need anybody else to help us with that.
No.
It irritates me that we make a law that says this guy's got a 50-room hotel, which really isn't that big. Maybe he's a private proprietor, you know?
Yeah. It's possible.
Why do we tell him that he can't offer fucking shampoo bottles? Why is that a law?
I just think it has to go to the greenhouse. I don't know if the greenhouse effect is right, but living green and everything's, because the little bottles and,
I'm with you, but I just think that's
and
government
oversight.
oversight.
if you think about it, if you're doing a Die Hard thing and somebody's taken over a hotel that you're in and you got those little soap bottles, you can use those to smudge them in the bad guy's eyes. So maybe they want to prevent that. Maybe they want the bad guys to have a better opportunity to be bad, so then they can get offered that new ruling of what was it, reallocated criminals into normal people, justified. They were justicely served, whatever the fuck you just said. So it could be that,
You know how I ruined the party?
How do you run the party?
We're talking about saving the fucking earth while we have how many thousands of nuclear weapons that we don't know what we're going to do with if we choose not to ever use them. Even if we chose today, they're still around for 150,000 fucking years.
Right.
And if anybody screws up, we're all done anyway. So
Yeah.
Really? Plastic bottles, that's what we spent,
Yes,
legislature time on.
Plastic bottle. You know why? Because they're hiding something in that plastic bottle law. There's something in the fine print that nobody's going to pay attention to, and that's going to fuck the society up.
So that's something Gravy brought up at break, that he said there should be a law that says when you fucking have a bill, it's one bill. It's not 400 other fucking pages on the, you just brought up a very valid point.
I agree with Gravy. So, and I think that's a great place to wrap up today's show because I got to pee and it's running night.
All right, brother.
And you got to get tacos or whatever it is you're eating today.
No, I'm eating burrito. Yeah, you got to
right on the head. Right on. All right, cool. So boys and girls, don't let the bad days win. We've talked about it before. I posted my 7,243rd day of sobriety was yesterday.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And then in doing so, somebody invited me to this Arizona Advocate page, which is all about recovery and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, you can promote yourself, blah, blah, blah." So I was like, that's cool. So I posted in there today, "Don't let the bad days win." And that was it. So
awesome.
Don't let the bad days win.
We should give a shout out for everybody finishing the year for us in the top 15% of all video podcasts on Spotify. So we had no idea because we don't pay somebody for analytics because, this is free to you guys. And if it ever gets to the point where we're making money, you'll know it. But that's awesome because we had no idea. So thank you, everybody that's been listening all year and keep sharing us and spreading the word. And we appreciate all you guys.
Absolutely. And you can see that now on the Facebook page because right before the show, I dropped that on the Facebook page.
Sweet. Real, raw, and relevant.
Real, raw, and relevant. All right, boys and girls, have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. And, I'm Chris. He's Mike. right? Yeah, there you go. I always wonder if I say that correctly or not. Like I'm Mike, he's Chris, but
You do it backwards sometimes, but that's
sometimes.
the charm of the show, brother. Who's who? Who's on first?
Who's on first? I don't know. Who's on second? What?
Have a great
So there
night,
you go.
man.
All right, buddy. You too. Nothing but love, man.
Love you too. Peace.
Peace.